everybody. This is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR podcast. Not like we're counting, but we're in week 2 of 14 of the NASCAR offseason, but there would still be plenty of racing. Super late models would be in action at New Smyrna for the Florida Governor's Cup. Stephen Nasse, Max Reaves, Chase Pinsonneault, Cole Butcher, among other top talent, will be gearing up. We'll recap that, plus other races. Plenty of new silly season news to uncover, plus discussions with Dave, paint scheme of the week, interview with Cup Series driver John Hunter Nemechek, NASCAR History Time, and so much more on this episode of Splash of Gas. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He'll be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Now for trivia question time. This week's question is, we mentioned this driver last episode. This past Truck Series champ has won the Florida Governor's Cup 3 times in a row, from 2015 to 2017. Name that driver. Now for the Florida Governor's Cup recap. Drivers will be ready to go on Saturday for the Florida Governor's Cup, the 60th running of it, at New Smyrna. After qualifying, Brad May would be on the pole, followed by Spencer Davis. Early on, Davis would lead as Cole Butcher, the 2025 ASA All-Star champ, would be moving up to second after starting 5th. 57 laps in, Butcher would make the pass for the lead. Less than 80 to go, Butcher still leads. A hard battle between George Phillips and Chase Pinsonneault for a number of laps would go on. This would end with Phillips being spun, bringing out the yellow, and into a controlled pit stop. Following restart, Butcher gets the jump, clearing for the lead, with Davis hounding him in second. Another yellow leading to a red flag, then restart would see Butcher leading with Davis close in second. Another restart sees the same combo up front, again Butcher strong in first. 20 to go, Davis gets to the bumper of Butcher, but Cole holds him off. Could Davis make the pass? 5 to go. Butcher is still up front. Cole Butcher goes on to win the 60th running of the Florida Governor's Cup. Spencer Davis second, Gavin Bochelle in third. Congratulations to Cole and crew. That wasn't all the racing action from New Smyrna this past weekend. On Friday night, the pro late models would be in action, running 100 laps. Jason Val will ultimately win that race, holding off Jade Averdezian. Other tracks having races were Vado Speedway, where Wyatt Miller, Dale Earnhardt's grandson, was racing. Last but not least, the 2.4 hours of Le Mullets ran in Bradenton at Cletus McFarland's place. It is a 2.4-hour race, and everyone is driving stock Crown Vics, and there is teams of 2. Cletus McFarland and Carson Hocevar would go on to win. Now for discussions with Dave. Part 1. More silly season news. Was announced, I think, about a week ago that Ryan Ellis would not be returning to DGM racing in 2026. A little bit surprised by that. Thought Ryan found a home there where he could have been for several years. But it was announced couple days ago that Ryan Ellis will be driving for Young's Motorsports in 2026 as they go from a 1-car team to a 2-car team in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Believe this is a good move for all parties involved. Was chatting with Ryan when I was down in Martinsville. Always impresses me how calm and collected he is. The step to Young's should help Ellis get more top 10s, top 15 finishes. If you look at Ellis's stats and compare them with Anthony Alfredo, who drove in the Xfinity Series for Young Motorsports, last year, they each had one top 10. Anthony Alfredo, top 15-wise, had 6. Ryan Ellis only had 2. A lot of finishes for Ryan in the low to mid-20s. Excited to see the outcome of this move once the racing action gets underway. With Matt Crafton retiring from full-time racing, ThorSport has announced that Ty Majeski will pilot the number 88 truck in the 2026 season. Recently, Majeski has been driving their 98 truck entry and has collected 6 wins and a championship with that truck, the number 98, since starting there full-time in 2022. I understand that it's just a number and people can make different arguments on the meaning of that, but why do you make this move? I understand for it personnel-wise. I mean, Ty Majeski is still staying with ThorSport Racing. They're just changing his number. Ty Majeski won the championship, 2 years ago, 2024, in the 98. When you think of truck racing, the 88, that's Matt Crafton. 3-time champ of the series. He's earned that right for fans to think that. Even though Majeski wasn't the champ for this year, he did not get a win, and that was very surprising to me. Does the move help fix that? We'll find out. Next topic, new look for Chevy in the Cup Series. Chevrolet has announced a new look, unveiling an updated Camaro ZL1, which will debut in 2026. The changes may be minor, but they bring the race car's look closer to the performance accessories kit recently introduced for the street version of the Camaro. NASCAR officials confirmed the updates were developed alongside Chevrolet and fully meet the competition department's guidelines for next year's new body style. The Camaro ZL1 first entered NASCAR competition in 2018, replacing the Chevy SS, then another update in 2020 to the ZL1 1LE body. The next-gen version followed in 2022. According to Chevy, the revamps are a larger hood dome, a reshaped front grille, and reworked rocker panels. We see manufacturers doing this every couple years or so. We saw Ford do it last year with the update of the Dark Horse Mustang, and Toyota did it with the Camry several seasons ago, making changes to the nose of the car. Will be interesting to see how the new Chevy drafts with the other manufacturers as well as their own on track. Last topic on Discussions with Dave, Part 1. Every day we inch closer to the Snowball Derby, the biggest late model race of the year, held at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. Exciting news. Past winner and 2-time Cup champ Kyle Busch will be participating in the Snowball Derby. Busch last ran the Snowball in 2020. He will jump in the number 51 Lucas Oil-backed machine for Bryson Lopez Racing as he looks to nab a win in one of Super Late Model Racing's crown jewel events. Calling the shots on top of the pit box will be Danny Stockton, the same crew chief who led Jesse Love and RCR number 2 team to the Xfinity Series championship this past season. Always exciting to see Cup Series talent participate against the top super late model drivers. Now for paint scheme of the week, doing a throwback this time to the Mountain Dew paint scheme driven by Darrell Waltrip in the 11. The throwback Mountain Dew logo on a NASCAR, a classic for sure. Please check that out. Now for NASCAR History Time. This week, we're touching upon the wild wrecks of Pocono's past. July 19th, 1992. Pocono saw one of its most frightening crashes when Davey Allison was tapped from behind by Darrell Waltrip, sending Allison's car into a violent spin, flipping 9 times across the infield before finally coming to rest, upside down. Davey had dominated all day, starting from the pole and leading 115 of the first 149 laps before the wreck. He walked away with a broken arm, wrist, and collarbone, along with a concussion. But in true Allison fashion, he climbed back into the car the very next week at Talladega, racing with a cast on. Now that's grit. The second wreck at Pocono we'll talk about happened 10 years later, July 28th, 2002. The race barely got underway before a terrifying first-lap crash involving Steve Park, which brought out a 65-minute red flag. Wow. That produced one of the most memorable displays of sportsmanship when Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was involved in the crash and teammates with Park at the time, ran to Park's car, helping him get out, and the two walked away arm in arm after the crash. Now for Discussions with Dave, Part 2. NASCAR back in Japan. NASCAR stars past and present showcased stock car racing at Fuji Speedway last week as Jimmie Johnson, John Hunter Nemechek, and two-time Cup Series starter Kamui Kobayashi participate in an exhibition race. Fuji Speedway is a road course consisting of 16 turns. Looks like a nice circuit. Nemechek and Kobayashi will be piloting NASCAR Cup cars. Jimmie Johnson will be driving the Garage 56 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, which he drove at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2023. In addition, there will be 3 ARCA cars as well. Takuma Koga in a Toyota Camry, Toshiki Oyu in a Chevrolet, and Kazuto Kotaka in a Ford. A rare international showcase for NASCAR, a beautiful backdrop with Mount Fuji in the background. Seems like the fans in Japan came out as well. We'll get into more details of that when we interview John Hunter Nemechek later this episode. Next topic, Junior Motorsports back at the Daytona 500. After its Cup Series debut in the 2025 Daytona 500 with Justin Allgaier, Junior Motorsports announced that they will be once again having an entry in the 2026 500 with Allgaier behind the wheel of their number 40 entry. Returning sponsor Traveler Whiskey will again be on board. Allgaier has a resume of 28 wins on the Xfinity Series. He finished 9th in the 500 last year. What can they do this time? Moving right along, Rodney Childress back as crew chief, this time with Junior Motorsports in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series with Carson Kvapil. Sometimes in business, relationships just don't work out. I was surprised that when Rodney Childress went to Spire Motorsports to work with Justin Haley, I was high on that decision. I really thought that was going to be a slam dunk. Thought Haley could even nab a win with Rodney atop that pit box, but it just didn't work out, and Spire let Rodney Childress go. Rodney Childress was the longtime crew chief under Kevin Harvick, and we know the resume that Harvick brings to the table. It was only a matter of time before Rodney got back on his feet and found a job. We've known that's been with Junior Motorsports for a little bit now. It's been recently announced he will crew chief the number 1 with Carson Kvapil behind the wheel. We've talked to Carson twice throughout the season this year, have seen him race late models for a number of seasons as well. That guy's a racer through and through. Ultra focused and cool as a cucumber. I believe the combination with him and Rodney is going to lead to race wins. I don't know if Kvapil can produce on the same level that Zilich did this year in the Junior Motorsports 88. Nonetheless, I think 2026, the sky is also the limit for the combo of Kvapil and Rodney Childress. Can't wait to see what they can do. Chugging right along in discussions with Dave. Next topic, Colleague Racing's free agent truck. Yes, you heard that right. As we know, starting in 2026, Ram is getting back into the sport, starting with the Truck Series with Kaulig Racing. They're going to field 5 full-time Truck Series entries next year. Several of the drivers have already been announced, landing full-time seats: Justin Haley, Daniel Dye, and Brandon Butterbean Queen. Kaulig just announced their 25 entry in the Truck Series will be a free agent truck, meaning drivers from all across motorsports are invited to pilot the 25 next year in the Truck Series. Kaulig will announce the driver of the 25 each Monday leading up to the race. Free agent drivers will obviously not be competing to win a championship. Instead, Ram will create a prize program based on the best individual track performance. Really cool. This will only spotlight and give opportunities to drivers that might not get a national level chance. If you know who I'm a huge fan of in the Xfinity series, I haven't been the hottest of Kaulig Racing recently, but tip of the hat to them. Gotta show credit where credit's due. As I mentioned, I think this is a terrific idea. Forgot to mention the next topic when it was announced a couple weeks ago, but very exciting nonetheless. Last year and past seasons, there has been a limit of 5 Xfinity races and 5 truck races that Cup Series drivers could participate in. Starting in 2026, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, the old Xfinity Series, Cup drivers with 3 or more years of experience can run up to 10 Xfinity races and 8 Truck Series races. I understand how people can be impartial when a Cup Series driver comes down to the Xfinity Truck Series and just goes on to dominate. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, for examples. When interviewing drivers of the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and asking them how they feel when full-time Cup drivers come down and race in that series, I was truly kind of surprised that a lot of them are really in full support of it. And they love it, actually. They enjoy how the guys from the top level of motorsports come down and they can participate, race, and learn from them. Yes, is this going to take away a win or two from a full-time Xfinity driver that might go on to finish second or third that race? Probably. That might happen. But in a big scheme of things, it is just making the product that much better for us fans. Moving right along to the next topic in WDW, an off-season racing move I did not see coming, but I'm a big fan of. Was recently announced that Austin Cindric, driver of the Team Penske Mustang at the Cup Series, will be driving an Armor All-sponsored Mustang in the Australian Supercar Series. This is the same series that Shane Van Gisbergen came to fame in before hopping to the Cup Series level. Cindric does have a lot of road racing on his resume, but hey, if you can't beat him, join him. Hopefully Austin can learn some things and bring it to the Cup level. Maybe we see more Cup Series drivers hopping in supercar seats moving forward. Would be very neat. When I'm doing this show, I try to stay as partial as a fan with my opinions as I can. Sometimes my fandom can show out. In this next topic, silly season news, it will. Was announced this week that Josh Williams will drive the number 92 Chevy for DGM Racing full-time in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, signing a multi-year agreement. Josh, unfortunately, had an early exit this season of the 11 car with Kaulig Racing. He didn't let that bring him down. He made starts throughout this year after parting with Kaulig. And now for 2026 and moving forward, we know where Williams is going to be. Prior coming to Kaulig Racing, Josh raced full-time with DGM. Josh is from Florida. DGM Racing is based in Port Charlotte, Florida. Good old buddy Josh is going back home and I think it's going to produce some top finishes for him next year. Can't wait to see Josh back in that car for sure. We'll keep it rolling with the silly season news. We know Kaulig Racing will not be full-time in the Xfinity Series, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series next year with all their truck entries partnered with Ram. One of their full-time Xfinity drivers from this past season, Christian Eckes, was just announced that he will go truck racing once again with McAnally Higgleman Racing, who he raced for a number of years, even making a Championship 4 appearance in 2024. This past season, both of Kaulig's full-time Xfinity drivers, Daniel Dye, along with Eckes, were each in their rookie season. Both drivers battled adversity throughout the year. We know Dye is staying with Kaulig Racing and taking one of their truck seats. Eckes think it's good for him to hit the reset button, going back to McAnally Higgleman, a place where we saw him have a lot of success at the truck level. He should be a playoff contender for sure. Last topic on Discussions with Dave, part 2. This time, talk about unknown silly season news. Have been talking about Kaulig Racing on the Truck Series level. They will still have 2 Cup Series entries in 2026. We know AJ Allmendinger is going to drive their number 16 entry, but who is going to drive the number 10 entry that was driven by Ty Dillon this past year? It was previously announced that in 2026, Kaulig Racing will not have a partnership with Richard Childress Racing. Ty Dillon is Richard Childress's grandson. We know what Ty did in the bracket format this year. That was awesome and brought so many viewers and eyes to him and that 10 car. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, business is business sometimes. And without that backing from RCR, I don't know if it looks the best for Dillon to take that seat again. I really want Ty in that seat for next year. And the thing that could prove me wrong is how much continued support Ty is going to have from his sponsors. We saw Seabest be on his car a lot this past year, along with Grizzly. Can that support put him over the top to be back in the 10 for Kaulig at the Cup Series? Should be finding that out soon. That wraps up this episode's edition of Discussions with Dave. Now for our exclusive Splash of Gas interview with John Hunter Nemechek. He was just racing out at Fuji Speedway in Japan. Let's see what John Hunter had to say about his experiences in racing in Japan, plus the end of the Cup Series season. Next guest we bring on the Splash of Gas is driver of the 42 for Legacy Motor Club, the NASCAR Cup Series, is John Hunter Nemechek. Thanks for joining the show again, John Hunter.
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, of course. Before we get into the end of the Cup Series action from the rest of this season, you and Jimmy Johnson were just out in Japan running at Fuji Speedway. Before we get into the on-track action, how was your experience in Japan? Looked awesome from your social medias.
Yeah, it was great. It was wonderful to get to go to Japan and visit. We were greeted with open arms by all of the fans and everyone at Fuji Speedway, all of the Japanese fans and the whole culture, really. Just an amazing experience being able to travel around Japan in Tokyo, Shinagawa, Ginza, Fuji, a couple other spots as well. But just an amazing experience for us.
Sounds like a great time. Looked beautiful out there. As a fan, this was my first time looking at the layout of the circuit there. Looked like a solid road course, 16 turns with a long straightaway from the final turn through the start-finish line back into turn 1. How was it once you got on track there?
Yeah, it was really neat. It was really fun racetrack to go and drive at. some tight corners, some long sweeping corners, technical sections as well. Had to kind of give up a little bit to make a couple corners flow together. But overall, it was a really fun road course. Really neat to see what they've been able to do at Fuji Speedway, and the fan interaction and being able to bring American motorsports to the Japanese fans, and really just the whole culture there was absolutely an amazing experience. Being able to drive in front of them, being able to put on a little exhibition race, do some burnouts, and show them really what American motorsports are all about.
Great. Awesome to hear that there were so many fans there. In addition to Jimmy, had solid drivers with veteran experience between Kobayashi, Koga, Toshiki Oyu, Kazuto Kataka on track with you. How was racing against those guys?
It was a lot of fun. Kamui and I have battled quite a bit on the road courses when he's come over and run. Jimmy and I were having a lot of fun. Got to do some ride-alongs as well with Marizo and a couple other executives from Toyota. So it was just a really fun experience, being able to learn the racetrack and give rides, and just having a blast over in Japan.
Cool. Just mentioning the Toyota executives, you've been with Team Toyota for some time now. How was meeting with their leadership? It seems like they have a deep passion for racing.
Yeah, for sure. It was great. Being able to spend time with all of the executives from Toyota was super neat. Being able to get in a race car with them and have them drive me around as well as me drive them around was super fun. Just the whole experience was absolutely amazing. It's amazing to see how passionate the Japanese fan base is about motorsports from everyone that was there at Fuji Speedway, but even more about American motorsports. And there was one thing in common: everybody was smiling ear to ear. So pretty awesome to be a part of that experience.
Cool. Really appreciate you sharing on that. Before we get into the Cup Series talk, favorite thing you ate in Japan, and still any jet lag? I know it was a couple of days since you got back.
Yeah, still a little bit of jet lag. Not too bad. I think the time zone adjustment is probably the biggest thing, just getting used to that. But overall, it's been really great to be back. But the best thing that I had to eat there was probably some I would say sushi. I don't think it gets much fresher than that.
Yeah, I'll take your word on that. Last spoke to you prior to Iowa. In the last 14 races of the Cup season, you collect 5 top 15s, including a P6 at Gateway and P4 at Darlington. I know Phoenix didn't go the way you would have liked it to go, but how did you feel in the latter half of the season?
I felt okay. I think that we continue to get better for sure. I think that we kind of see where we struggle, where we need to improve going into 2026. And we had some really solid runs there through the later part of the year. I felt like we were in contention a couple times to possibly have a win. But overall, it was really solid to finish out the year. Definitely not exactly the results that we wanted, or not seeing the results on the paper that we necessarily wanted this year in 2025. But I definitely think that we made major gains at Legacy Motor Club through the entire year. And looking forward to 2026 and getting the season kicked off and hopefully hit the ground rolling and see the effort, the hard work, all the changes and really the improvements that we've been able to make at Legacy Motor Club kind of be shown.
Awesome. Appreciate the insight on the improvements. You just mentioned, leading some of these races, and 3 of the last 11 races of the year, Daytona, Darlington, you do bring the 42 up front and see you lead. We know your resume of wins at the Xfinity and Truck Series level. Did leading those laps on the Cup side, give you confidence that you can bring into next year?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it hurts for sure. I think that it's something that can definitely bring you confidence in those situations. We had some really good race cars through the later part of the year, and we were able to lead some laps and run up front and have a couple shots at winning the race if the circumstances would have been a little bit different. So, yes, I'm I'm ready for 2026. I know the offseason just started, but can't wait to get back in a race car and go start the season.
Sounds great. Just said super excited. The 2026 starts with the Daytona 500 in February. You were fifth there last year and seventh in 2024. Know the speedway races at the end of this past season didn't go your way. It seems like your drafting skills at the Cup level have come together the last couple of years. Even though the 500 starts with a marathon of a season, do you think you can? Do you believe you can get the 42 in victory lane at Daytona? Recent finishes do show you're getting close, man.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think so. I think as we progress here and continue to get our cars better, it's only going to get better for us. So I'm looking forward to getting the year kicked off at Daytona and seeing what we can do in the 500. We've been close over the last couple of years. We've put ourselves in position, and that's really all you can ask for coming to the end of those races and hope that it works out. It's wild card racing, I should say. You can put yourself in a really good spot all race long and end up getting taken out on the last lap or whatever it may be. And luckily enough, we've had some really good finishes in the 500. So hope that we can continue that and go try and get a win here to kick off the year at the Daytona 500. That would be one heck of a first win, that's for sure.
Got that right. Just as mentioned, the Cup Series season is a long grind. Obviously, you just said there's a lot of pressure on the 500. As a driver through the highs and lows of a season, how do you regroup so quickly to get ready for the next race?
Man, it's definitely tough for sure. But it's just part of it, part of the job. A lot of work goes into it. Each and every week there's a lot that goes into it, but looking forward to kind of just getting the year kicked off and getting in the flow again. Hopefully have some downtime here during the off season. Got it.
Seems like you're ready for it. Hope you don't think this is a silly question. You've built your own name with your wins, in the previous series, now leading laps in Cup. I don't know if you experienced any nervousness when you were younger, but your dad's nickname is Front Row Joe. Any added pressure when you're qualifying nowadays, or strictly business now, man?
No, I always joked with him, I'd rather win races than win poles. So I wouldn't say that there's any pressure qualifying. I definitely need to get better qualifying, that's for sure. But overall, it's pretty cool to kind of continue on the Nemechek name and the legacy that my dad has built in the sport of NASCAR, and hopefully we can go get a lot more wins.
Appreciate you touching on that. Last question. For first half of 2026, any tracks besides Daytona that you're looking forward to, and favorite off-season hobby?
Yeah, every single one of them. Looking forward to getting back and just getting going. Favorite off-season hobby? That's a tough one. I enjoy traveling and enjoy kind of seeing new places, but looking forward to getting on some snow skis or a snowboard here soon, and spending quite a bit of time with the daughters and just enjoying the downtime that we have.
Awesome. Well, safe travels out there, John Hunter, and hope you have a great holidays with your friends and family, and we'll talk to you in 2026, all right?
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good one. See ya. Great to have John Hunter on the show again. Very neat experience he shared about racing in Japan the week before. Sounds like they have a very passionate motorsports fan base as well. And great preview he gave us on what to expect from Legacy in 2026. Now we come to the end of the episode, and that means trivia answer time. This week's question is, we mentioned this driver last episode. He is a past Truck Series champ and won 3 Florida Governor's Cups in a row from 2015 to 2017. Name that driver. Answer is, he was in the playoff for, again this past year, and 2024 Truck Series champ, Ty Majeski. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, a.k.a. Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weigert. Thanks again to John Hunter Nemechek for joining the show. Hope everyone liked all the different topics we touched upon on Discussions with Dave. Till next time, everybody, Splash of Gas out.